So Apple announced the new iPhone 16e. It is the new budget model for the iPhone 16 family. It replaces the iPhone SE. It is $600. It's in line with the iPhone 16 and the 16 Pro. And in this video, let's compare the features of the iPhone 16e with the features of the iPhone 16 Pro. So first of all, the build quality is going to be the same on both of these devices, but one device is being sold at $600 while the iPhone 16 Pro is a $1,000 device. So we got a difference of $400, but build quality is always a good spot for the iPhone, no matter which phone, be it budget or expensive, they got the same good glass front, glass back quality. The first difference we see here is that the change of the iPhone 16e is that it's now all eSIM. There is no more physical nano SIM card slot. So it falls in line with the iPhone 16 Pro. So that's a change that we had from the previous budget iPhone. So it's a tie right there. Next, both of these have the same IP68 dust and water resistance. You can dunk it in water for 6 meters up to 30 minutes. So that's another similarity that has closed the gap. Now for the display, this is the first major difference. And it's an old adage, it's an old comparison, but the iPhone 16e budget device has a 60 hertz refresh rate. It doesn't have the 120 hertz refresh rate that the iPhone 16 Pro has, which is just very smooth and fluid if you ever used it. You won't notice them really until you compare them side by side or if you own an iPhone 16 Pro. And yeah, once you get addicted, it's hard to go back, but that is one of the major differences between these devices. Next also is with that ProMotion display, 120 hertz, you have that always on display on the iPhone 16 Pro. You don't have that on the iPhone 16e. So on the display front, that's probably the major differences in the quality and just, the performance. The other thing to take note of is that the iPhone 16e has a notch versus the dynamic island. Now, not too many compromises right there. It's like the iPhone 14 model with the notch, the iPhone 16e, but the dynamic island does offer a little bit of more little features that'll show you a little bit more information. It makes more utility out of that notch at the top, but functionality, you're not getting that much more by going from the notch to the dynamic island and back and forth. Next, what do we get on the software side? Both of them have iOS 18, and the good thing is that you're going to get 7 years of updates on the iPhone 16e, just like the iPhone 16 Pro, 6 or 7 years. So that's going to be pretty good. They fall in line. Apple is finally kind of leveled out all of the iPhones, which most of them will be on the same update schedule. So that's pretty nice right there. Storage wise, now the iPhone 16e, the budget model, has 128 gigs of starting storage, the same as the iPhone 16 Pro. So that's pretty good. That's a very good amount of storage for your videos, your apps, your photos, which is cool. Now you got a budget option that has the same amount of storage as the $1,000 option. Next is the RAM. 8 gigs of RAM, double of the previous budget iPhone SE3. So that's a pretty good amount of RAM. This will keep this phone updated for several years to come, and it has the same amount of RAM as the iPhone 16 Pro. If you notice here, the internals are almost exactly the same as the between both of these devices. So you're getting the same internals, the same guts in the $600 budget device as the same as the $1,000 Pro device. So that's very good in line for performance. The next major difference though is going to be in the camera department. The iPhone 16e has like every other iPhone SE before it, budget-wise, it has only one single camera and it has a 48 megapixel shooter. The iPhone 16 Pro has the 3 cameras on the back, 48 megapixel main shooter, 12 megapixel telephoto, 48 megapixel ultra wide. So you're missing out on 2 extra cameras on the that the iPhone 16 Pro has, but they both shoot in 4K. And let me tell you honestly that that's not such a big compromise. You're gonna take beautiful pictures and videos with the iPhone 16e. I think most people do not, they just take a picture without thinking about having to do the ultra wide or the zooming in. Most people will take really good pictures and videos, no problem. Selfie camera is the same. Both of these have the 4K 12 megapixel shooter on front. So that's the only thing, is you're compromising with the telephoto and the ultra wide. You're not getting that on the iPhone 16e. Both of these have USB Type-C. So you're moving from Lightning from the previous budget phone. Now it finally has USB Type-C. Same thing as the iPhone 16 Pro. And both of them have Face ID, which could be found at the top of the device. And both are speedy ways to unlock your device. It's just, when you see the notch, it's going to look a little bit different, but its function is the same. Next is going to be a very, very interesting one, and that's the battery. The iPhone 16e has been announced to have 26 hours of battery life. It is the longest battery life of any iPhone in the 6.1 inch display range in that size, and that's huge. It pretty much keeps it in line with all the other devices, plus some extra hours. This isn't a small device anymore, so they pack in a bigger battery. And also contributing to that good battery life is Apple is using its own homemade cellular modem. It's 5G modem. So you're finally getting great battery life from a budget device. And I think that's the most important thing that people care about in a new phone, is the battery life. So you got all day battery life on this device compared to the 16 Pro, which also has good battery life, but it's not gonna have as much. And you do lack MagSafe on the iPhone 16e. You just have regular Qi wireless charging, no MagSafe, and you don't have reverse, but it doesn't really matter. You can charge this device in 50% in 30 minutes, which is really good enough for me. And yeah, that's been a crazy comparison of how iPhone has jacked up the price by $170 on the budget model, but it has gave a lot of competition to the iPhone 16 Pro. I really believe that most people will be happy with their iPhone 16e purchase if they're considering saving some money. You're getting a lot of new stuff. This device is going to have great battery life, a great camera. You got a powerful chipset. You got lots of storage. The 8 gigs of RAM is on par with your $1,000 device. It has the same amount of water resistance. So if you drop it, dunk it, whatever, you should be good to go. I am sad to see the SIM card slots go eSIM only, because having that nano SIM card slot is still something that I like to see, having a lot of flexibility with carriers and stuff like that. Probably the biggest disappointment is going to be the 60 hertz refresh rate. That's a compromise that, that kind of really defines what the Pro models have, is that 120 hertz Pro motion display and having that extra camera. But apart from that, this device, the iPhone 16e, is a really great deal. Most people will be very happy with this device. And now you really aren't compromising when you're getting a budget device directly from Apple, where it's like super small, outdated design, big bezels, home button, not good battery life. Now you finally get a reasonable, great option if you don't want, if you want the newer tech, but without the gigantic price tag. And the bonus is you got great battery life. So the iPhone 16e is a very surprising phone that is just so modern, and it's even better in battery life than the iPhone 16 Pro. So difference of $400, and you're actually getting some positives out of it. So that's been my comparison of the iPhone 16e and the iPhone 16 Pro.